Welcome to Builder. In this video, we'll talk about exporting survey data, and we'll look at ways that you can filter and sort the data so that it's useful for you. First, we want to check that we actually have a survey and that survey has responses. So let's click into our polls and surveys, and we're going to take a look at our session evaluation survey today. So let's click in there and go over to responses. And you'll see that there's responses for all three of our questions, so that's great. And we'll go back to our guide dashboard, and then we can download the survey data. So you'll click this ellipsis button, the three dots, which give you more options, and then click Export Data. This is where you export all your data from. And any survey data is going to be located under items here. So we're looking for session evaluation, and here it is. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And you'll receive the evaluation data via email. So you can just say OK, and then we can close out of this for now. For the purpose of this video, I've already gone ahead and downloaded the survey data. So let's take a look. So here's our survey. All of your data, whether it's a survey export, whether it's a session export, will be in a CSV file. So you can open that file in Excel if that's your preference, or you can use Numbers or LibreOffice, OpenOffice, whatever you prefer. Let's take a look at this data. Column A is device ID, and all that means is it tells you what device the responses came from. So we don't need that information right now, so let's go ahead and just make that column a little smaller. Session or item ID tells you where the person who filled out the survey was in your guide when they filled it out. I had this survey linked to multiple sessions, so wherever the person who's filling out the survey accessed it from, that's what the session ID is. Again, we don't need that information right now because session item name is a lot easier for us to understand. So we'll take a look at that one. Column D is question ID. So similar to session ID, Builder gives each question an ID. So you'll see that all of these IDs are the same. It's the same question. Again, we'll use the text instead of the ID just because it's easier for us to understand what we're looking at. F is our responses column, and then G is our date column. So that gives you a date and timestamp for when the survey was filled out. It's really important when we're looking at survey data to make sure that when we're filtering it, we're filtering all of it at the same time. So to ensure you select all the data, this little button in the upper left-hand corner can be clicked, and that'll select all the data. You're also welcome to hold and drag and select all your data that way. To filter the data, you're going to look for the Sort and Filter option in Excel, and it looks like a little funnel. It's on the edge of my screen here and cut off, so I'll drag it in a little. So it's right there. We can also get to the same place by clicking Data and clicking Filter, our funnel button right there. And you'll notice that little down arrows have appeared at the top of each column on each header. And if you can click the filter off and then click it back on anytime you'd like. You'll notice that Builder initially sorts by question text. So this entire column is sorted where how would you rate the speaker is first, and then did you learn from this speaker, and something you'll take away from the session. So let's reselect all our data. And let's instead sort by session item name. So we'll click this down arrow, And Excel will give you a pop-up box with different options. So let's go ahead and look at the data A to Z ascending. So we'll click that, and then you can just close the filter. And now you'll notice that our session item name column is in alphabetical order. So say we needed to give all the keynote session data to the speaker. You could copy and paste all of this into a different Excel document and then send it that way to your keynote speaker. As you can see, data and then filter allows us to group survey responses by the column header. Let's take a look at a couple of other examples. So we'll select all our data again. If we sort by date, and we can do ascending again, that will sort the date column by when the surveys were received. Say you were testing the survey, you could then take out those test surveys if you wanted to. Or if you wanted to see how many people filled out your survey in response to a push notification you sent out, say you sent it out on October 25th in my case, and it was at 11:30, well then, it looks like all of these surveys probably were filled out by that. So you can make an educated guess based on that. We can also sort our responses. So we could just sort by ascending. Let's take a look at what that looks like. So this would tell us, okay, we had a session that got a 1, some 2s, kind of all over the board, but then a lot of 5s. We can also sort it by several other things. So select the data again, and we'll click this. Let's say we only want to see sessions we got a 5 on. So we could deselect all, and then just click 5. And then when we close the pop-up, it will just show us the sessions that got a 5. To clear the filter, just select all your data again, click one of the arrows, and just click Clear Filter. You can close out, and then all your data is there again. Being able to export your survey data can be really useful depending on what kind of information you're looking for. So it's best to think about what information you want to get out of the survey, and then export the data and filter to get whatever information you need. If you have any further questions about exporting survey data, please feel free to reach out to the Guidebook support team at support@guidebook.com.